Hey, welcome back, Jetfish fans. Today we're going to be doing a build for an auxiliary battery pack. And many times when you're drifting or you're out there anchored, you're not running your engine. Chances are you're running down with any accessories. You're running down your battery. And I didn't want to take a chance of getting stranded, so I took a page out of the Kayaker's handbook, and they've been installing battery packs and accessories on their kayaks for years. So this is a build of a battery pack very similar to those used on a kayak. The first test was really positive. It worked really well, worked the whole day as far as power, and I had some remaining when I got back. So hope you find this helpful, and good luck.
All right, here are the components that you're going to need to make the auxiliary battery pack. Here we have a digital multimeter that'll be used to test the battery charge. And here are some foam tubing, insulation tubing, that it'll be used to block the battery inside the box to keep it from jiggling around. There's some female 14 gauge terminals that'll be used. Those go on the battery. Some wire connectors with shrink tube around them. There is a gland fitting that we'll be using, as well as a 3 amp fuse and a 14 gauge fuse holder. There is a wire guide with a zip tie that'll be used inside the box just to secure the wires. Protective covering that will go just on the outside to keep any chafing down to a minimum on the external wires. Then there's a universal plug that'll be used, and this is the same plug as on both ends, and you'd use this by cutting it, connecting this to, of course, your accessory, and then the other will go to the internal piece of the battery. Then there are some crimpers, of course, wire cutters and crimpers, and some wire nippers, which is easier to actually cut the wire with when you're working with it, and then some heat shrink tubing, and that'll be used to seal the connections tight. Up here what you have the Expert Power battery. This one is a 12 volt 10 amp battery. It's rated to 20 hours. We'll see how that goes. And then this is a basic this is an Outdoor Products waterproof box. You probably have seen this in other videos, people using them for a battery pack. And this is the SLA, which is sealed lead acid battery charger, and these are like for $9 on Amazon. You can get them. So those are all the components that we're going to be going through and installing to make the auxiliary battery pack. The first step, you're going to want to drill a hole in the front, bottom, center of the Outdoor Products box, waterproof box, for your cup fitting, your gland fitting. And that will actually tighten up and seal around your wire, creating more of a waterproof seal. So once this is drilled, then you can install the fitting as you see here. Okay, it's important that before you start crimping on fittings and terminals, that you run the wire from the universal plug through the gland fitting that goes through the box. And that looks something like this. This is how the wiring looks going into the box from the universal cord through the gland fitting, and then as you can see there's the terminal connectors, and at the end we have 2 female terminal connectors to go to the battery, one red, one black, and you can see then the fuse holder is in there as well. Also, the cable guide with the zip tie is attached to the inside just to keep all of that together and not moving. And then we will tighten up the gland fitting just to make sure it has a tight fit around the wire. So here's how the battery fits into the waterproof box, and as you can see, we put the protective coil on the outside of the cable and the foam corners in to keep it from bouncing around. So I wanted to share with you why some of the additional items were on the parts list. The heat shrink tubing I used for this connection here. And this is the SLA battery charger. I got an additional universal connector and actually soldered those, making sure the polarity was correct, and heat shrinking each one of those soldered connections. Then over both of those connections, a larger red heat shrink tube was used to protect that. Now what this does, this makes it really easy to charge your battery without taking it out or doing anything unique to get to it. And with it being in tight confinement in the back of the jet ski, it's always good to open up that box. They say do not charge a SLA battery in a closed container. So open up the box, unplug your accessories from the battery cable, plug this in, charge it up, use your tester to measure the amount of current that you have. Once it's charged fully, unplug and you're ready to go. Thought this would be helpful.
Okay, when it comes to location and where you're going to put the battery pack, it's going to be different from jet ski to jet ski. So I'm going to show you quickly here how we installed it on this unit. Of course, the seats lift out, and you can see most of your engine compartment. I didn't want to mess with this because this is all wires, electronics, vents, all kinds of things. So I stayed out of this area. Some people will go to the front and mount their battery packs in the storage compartment. I decided to go back here, and as you can see, in here is where I mounted it against this firewall, and it only required 2 screws and 2 stainless steel screws, 2 drill holes through this piece, so nothing to be damaged when I mounted it. And as you can see, the universal plug here. So this is where it's mounted. Battery is in here. I unplug this to charge it, and I actually plug it back in to run my accessories. The wires run along this side of the vessel and up to here where I just pulled them out, attach them to the fish finder, and go from there. So I hope this was a successful video for you. I hope it'll help you to make your own build, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to email me. Thanks.